Welcome to Walk the Talk, a podcast about people, culture, learning, and the inspiration in between. This is a space in which we'll invite colleagues and specialists to have a chat on what it means to grow and be our best self. Anytime, anywhere. Hi everyone, my name is George Andrieș and I'm the host of the Walk the Talk podcast. Welcome to the 6th episode in which we'll talk about how to build a community to drive change. The past months have taught us many lessons, but one of the most impactful ones was the importance of having a community around us to support. Be it small, family and friends, or big, such as all volunteers that have rallied to help the medical system. But how do we mobilize the community? How can people be motivated and inspired to create change? What does it take to have people rally behind a cause? We have with us today Anca Banita, who will try to answer some of these difficult questions. Anca is a coach and communicator, but we've invited her today in her capacity as one of the initiators of Let's Do It Romania, the biggest social movement in Romania, which mobilized 1,800,000 Romanians, and that's about 10% of the entire population, to clean the country in a single day. Together with her team, she has also written a book about their experience in bringing so many people together for a cause called What Else? Let's Do It Romania. Welcome, Anca.
Hello, and nice to be here.
Anca, before we deep dive into today's topic, tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a communicator. I've been doing this for the last 14 years, and I'm a big supporter of social change. For me, Let's Do It Romania, and what I'm doing now actually with people is about showing them they have the power to change what they don't like, being it in a community, in their relationships, in their country. So that was the motivator for me behind what we did in Let's Do It and what I'm doing in my life. I really believe this, that we have the power to change what we don't like and at the same time to create the lives that we really love, So that's my vision, and that's behind everything that I'm doing.
For sure, and I guess that's what drove you to start. So if we go back in the past to start off things, Let's Do It Romania, huge social movement at the time and still is. Can you tell us more about what it looks like from the inside and how you got involved in it?
So in 2009, a video was sent by the Estonian team. Estonia was the first country ever who organized Let's Do It, and they mobilized a lot of people in their country. After that, they sent a video about how they did it. This video landed with us in Romania as well. I was part of a volunteering team at that point. So we got together and we decided to do it in Romania as well. At the beginning, we were like 5 volunteers in a room with a big dream to clean up the whole country in just one day. We set the date for September 25th. That was the first National Cleanup Day in Romania. And what followed in the next, let's say, 10 months or more, was really something crazy, I would say, because, we went from being, some crazy people wanted to clean up the country to the biggest movement in Romania. I'm not saying it was not hard in the first months. It was, because of course you meet a lot of no's. A lot of people will tell you and told us this can't be done in Romania. Maybe they did it in a Nordic country, but not in Romania. People here are not into volunteering. They don't like to do stuff for the nature. But we just said, we believe we can do it. We believe there are many people in Romania that need a cause like this together to do something good. So we started mobilizing all these actors in society, starting from the authorities, because of course you need the Ministry of Environment and all the structures behind it. So we went there. After that, we went to the companies and asked for support, and many of them said, yes, we can come with volunteers, or we can support with different, products, services, and so on. After that, we went to the media, and we sent this press release. First was 1 year before. After that, we did press conferences and so on. So we tried to mobilize and send this message everywhere in society, because it's a society project. So you need everybody to be there.
So what you're saying basically is that you built a community in order to drive this. And how did you succeed? Because I guess you weren't the only ones. You are not the only ones, but somehow you managed to come on top and create such a wide known movement that actually had results. So if you could tell us some success factors that contributed to this movement, and how the community that you managed to build managed to help you in this direction.
So I think first of all, we had a big idea. It was this very simple and clear idea to be communicated. Let's clean up the whole country in just one day. This is memorable, this is clear, and you really understand it from the first second. Okay, this is what this is about. After that, we were talking about a problem that was really relevant for everybody. So it was touching everybody. When we were, talking about how dirty Romania is, everybody could relate. Everybody had a memory. Yeah, of course, when I'm going to the mountains and I'm in the train and I see all these mountains of garbage and so on. So everybody has a memory. So it was touching them, personally. So this is a factor, it's about me as well. And I would say the third thing in our campaign was the positive direction of it. So we didn't choose, the blaming direction, like, oh, this is so bad, the authorities are not doing anything and so on. We didn't like, this victim mode, but all the messages were from let's say the creator mode. It was something like, okay, here's what we can do together. Let's unite for something bigger than us, for something positive. And this was, a new voice, especially at that moment. I don't know if you remember how it was in 2009, but we didn't have many volunteering actions. People were not into volunteering. We didn't have a lot of positive causes. Now it seems, something like so normal to donate for causes and to go to volunteer. It wasn't like this in 2009. So it was very different, it was a very powerful, light, a happy, positive voice. And I think on that ground, it was really needed, so people really needed to hear something like this. Hey, let's not just unite for, protests and because the salaries went down and stuff like this. Let's unite, for something that's really important for us, our country and the nature and, having a healthy environment for all of us. So that's why it resonated so much.
And could you say that at the time, maybe you were the ones with the action Let's Do It Romania that actually started this movement in Romania? Because after that, we saw a lot of protests, as you said, not regarding increases in payment or strikes of any sort, but more for natural environmental causes.
Yeah, I would say Let's Do It Romania was a very important point, let's say a shifting point. After that, I really believe that many movements, actions, NGOs got the confidence to go out there and mobilize people. So yes, it was like a road opener, let's say so, because we showed for the first time that yes, there are people here in this country caring about this kind of causes. At the same time, it was, that time, if you remember, we had some other protests about Roșia Montana and stuff like this. So it was at the same period. So these kind of things were taking, were growing. But I think, yes, Let's Do It was something, a turning point. Yes, I think it was that, because when we were talking with NGO people, activists after Let's Do It, many of them told us, because of you, we started doing things. When we saw this was possible, we started to believe it was possible for us as well and for our causes as well. And we involved many activists and NGOs also in Let's Do It Romania. So it was also, a first opportunity to work together as activists for this kind of cause. So I think it had impact on many other levels apart from, the actual cleanup.
So you actually built a larger community out of all the NGOs that existed and brought them together. Was it hard, I want to ask you, Anca, and what does it take to motivate and to empower people to actually do things, because they may say, yeah, it's a good idea, I like it, I'll get involved. But then when you actually call that person saying, hey, you remember you enrolled for this, they say, oh, sorry, I don't have time. Actually, if it's something less that I can do. So how can you actually take it from saying something, from people making a promise, to actually contributing to the cause?
I guess there are many factors, many elements that you can use, and we used a lot of them in the campaign, starting from inviting you to come with friends and family, and these are important. When you have someone important telling you this, that let's do something together as a family or a team, maybe you will be more open to do it. So this was one thing, talking and inviting people to come as teams or groups or family, like presenting it as a group activity, as a team building activity, with a good purpose at the same time. So this was one thing. Another thing was seeing relevant people involved in the campaign, some like influencers from different sectors. And here we were very careful to select only people with clean images. So we always had, really established figures talking about Let's Do It Romania. So it was we had, holograph or Adidas spot or Smiley, people that were very important and visible at that point. We had a media partner that was very visible and communicating very clean. So I think also this, seeing that different parts of society are talking about a cause makes you believe that, okay, this is important. Maybe I could go, maybe I could support this. So I think it's a mix of things. But also what was really nice was the feedback of the people going there afterwards and saying, it was not that bad, it was really fun. We had some fun in the nature. I want to come again. So usually people after the first time, they were coming back because they had this, the feeling of contribution is something unique. I mean, you cannot take it. And this was something also from corporate people, they were coming with their teams. And after that, they were like, at the beginning, we were not so, interested in doing this. But afterwards, wow, when are we doing it again? So it's contagious, this feeling of contribution and, oh, I'm really having an impact here. It goes very far.
I see, and I get from your enthusiasm how it must have been. And Anca, I would like to touch point on the less pretty part of things now, because I think we should also address this. You've built a community that managed to do things, actually, and we've seen the results. However, and I'm glad that this opportunity came about, because to be really honest, for the last 2 months or so, I've been really, really outraged, and I'm going to tell you why. I've been driving quite a lot through the country, going through to a lot of places, and without exception, almost, on all the roads that I've been, I've seen them filled with trash on the sides. And not just one plastic bottle here or a can there, literally bags of garbage that is clearly thrown by people. And I don't even want to know what's in the rivers, what is in the outskirts of Bucharest. Literally, this country is filled with trash everywhere. And, the sad part is that if Let's Do It Romania would rally now 5 million people and you would, hypothetically speaking, clean up the whole country, in 1 month, it would be exactly the same or even worse. So my question to you, at least this is how I see things. So my question to you, because we're talking about communities, we have one community that helps and makes things better, and on the other hand, we have these communities that that don't have the basic knowledge and throw this is just one thing, that throw their garbage just on the side of the road, and it's someone else's problem. How can we tackle that?
Well, this is a long journey, and we said that from the very beginning when we started Let's Do It Romania, because yes, for sure, you need a lot of education and a change of mindset. I'm not saying we finished the work. What I can say that happened in the last 10 years, more than 10 years since Let's Do It Romania appeared, is the fact that firstly, we brought the problem of the garbage, in trash in the nature on the public agenda. It was not something discussed before Let's Do It Romania. You couldn't see it like everywhere. So we raised awareness on it. At the same time, we had a lot of pupils coming in the cleanups. Like half of the volunteers in Let's Do It Romania are children, so we have this confidence, that trust that in the future we will have some more responsible citizens. At the same time, yes, I agree with you that there are many people not following this, not respecting the environment and so on. For those people, I would say at some point you need some very clear fines for what they are doing. And this was something that we proposed many times in discussions with the Ministry of Environment. I couldn't tell you where we are with this. Actually, we have fines, but they are not applied. So I guess you have to go in two directions. One, with awareness, education, this is how you do it, and so on. On the second, yes, some fines in some situations, but what I would also add is that there are many causes why people are throwing garbage, and not being educated is just one of them. You were mentioning earlier that if you believe that in 1 month everything would be the same, it's not true. And
I'm glad to hear that.
There are many nuances on this. From what we saw for the places where we cleaned, some are still clean. And that's because there were some places, when you were throwing because it was already something there. So when everything disappeared, there was no invitation for people to throw in a place. But there are other places where the cause is more profound. For example, you live in a village and you don't have any system, to put the garbage. So you just leave it in the
field.
Yes. So this is something, a deeper cause. It's not something that you are just solving because you are gathering the trash. So that's why I'm saying that the problems are deeper, and we were communicating this all the time. We don't have this integrated system for collecting trash and collective selective collecting and so on. So it's more profound than just pick up the trash.
I can totally imagine. I'm just saying what I see, and this totally outrages me. So you're saying, Anca, that you do see an improvement, a change since 2009 and now almost 12 years later?
Yes, we for sure we see many places are still clean. We didn't need to clean them more and more and more. One example was Băneasa Forest. We didn't find many dirty places when we wanted to assign volunteers there, because many corporate companies wanted there to clean with volunteers, and we couldn't find a lot of places that were dirty, and we were kind of laughing, okay, so we don't have dirty places to give to people, and this is good, actually. So yes, some places are more clean, and yes, for sure, it's this huge work of changing the mentality that's still going on, and it's going to be for years and years and years. And yes, so there are effects, and of course everybody now knows what Let's Do It Romania is supporting. It's work in progress, but yes, it's a big difference since we started, in also the view on volunteering, the view on social involvement, and so on.
I'm really glad to hear that, honestly speaking. See, I didn't know, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners didn't know. So it's good to hear from someone that actually is involved within the system to tell us, well, it's actually better. So that's really, really great to hear, because you hear a lot of negativity around you and you feel that we are going in the wrong direction. But
negative is more sexy, to just put it there.
It sells, yeah.
What I can add to that, only one sentence, is that, being a doer is becoming something sexier too, and being in the mainstream, So this was, the concept, be a doer, go and take action when you don't like something, that's the spirit of the movement. So that's something we really promote daily.
Great that you brought it up, Anca. I want to be a doer. I want to take action. I want to do something. What can I do from my level? I don't know. I'm living in Bucharest. I'm working from home. I'm kind of separated from what's going on in the society if I don't read the news or follow what's going on. So how can I get involved?
Well, for sure, everything starts with the small things you can do as a citizen on a daily basis. So, for example, if you notice something in your environment, let's say you are on the street and you see a problem, you see a tree, you see something needing help, you can just find a way to report that thing, or to this idea that the problems are invisible and we are just going like this through life, not caring about what's happening around us in the community. That's something that needs to change, and these are the small things. Or this discussion started a lot after Collective, when many people were saying exactly this. We are contributing to what's happening everywhere. So becoming more aware of these small things we can do as citizens, going to vote and everything like this. So this is the small things. Other stuff, it's like find a cause that you like, that you resonate with. It could be animals, it could be environment, it could be children, it could be old people. Just find something like this and support it with a donation or with your time and so on. And you can just, if you look on Google or on Facebook, you will find them very easily. So there are many ways you can support causes these days, and it's just like €2 per month. I have many causes that I'm supporting just with that SMS. So that's also something very small, and it doesn't require a lot of time and effort from you. Of course, if you want to do more and more, find that organization and volunteer some hours during a month. So these are the things that I would suggest for the beginning, and I see this in my bubble. I see this happening more and more and more. People are not, just unconsciously living their lives. They are starting to realize more and more they are part of the community and that they have a responsibility there. So now you can't just ask for things to be great if you are not doing your part, if you are not going to vote, if you are not reporting an abuse, if you are not, noticing a problem when you are not supporting those people who are trying to change things.
At the heart of every great change is a great human. Come help us create value.
Are there any roadblocks or anything that we should try to avoid when trying to build a strong community? Have you faced these circumstances, and what did you do to overcome them?
I think some people, I don't have a concrete example, but I would avoid trying to build a community around the person. I would try to build a community around a value and a cause. So I think there are people sometimes with big egos trying, to rally the community around them, and that's not actually working. So this is something we avoided, and I think it's something that you can see out there. So going on the positive note, I would always find something that unites those people that we want in a community, being it a value, being it a vision, being it a purpose. That's something that brings people together. So
if the person leaves for any reason, but the cause still remains, it's not okay that leader figure has moved on, then the cause is over.
Sometimes the cause survives, and I would say that's the good situation, because also in our case we had someone starting it after other people continue with it. Now the same, and I think that's natural and that's great. We were always trying to find new people, new energy, new vibes, to support the same cause and movement, and that's great. At some point maybe you don't resonate with the same cause and you move forward, but that doesn't mean that the cause cannot survive and go further as well.
Let's get back to you a bit, Anca, because we've discussed about the cause, about what you did as a team and build communities and all that you have achieved. What keeps you personally motivated to continue on to walk on this path?
This path of being an activist?
Of being an activist, of building communities, of making a change around you, of putting your time, effort, energy, and all the resources that you've got.
Well, I think it's related to a way of seeing life. I never liked this idea that to give my power outside, just expecting others to save me, or us, being it the politicians, different managers or so on. And this approach to say, I have the power to change what I don't like, and that's actually very motivating, to bring positive change. This is something that's driving me. At the same time, I really believe that raising the level of consciousness of people around me, that's something very important. You were asking me why people are throwing garbage, because they don't have the level of awareness to actually realize that's damaging, for other parts of the system. So what I'm doing as a coach and as a trainer with different programs, courses and so on, is exactly this, to make people more conscious of themselves and of the fact that they are actually part of a system. This is something we do damage the system when we don't realize we are part of it. It's the same with trash, is the same with, hating people online and so on. When we actually realize that we are all connected and when I damage you, I actually damage myself. This is something I think would be a very big change for the whole society if we actually realize this. And this is part of my work, yes.
And what makes you really satisfied at the end of the day? What is... If you could name just one thing, because I'm sure there are many, but if you could name the biggest payoff, let's say, to everything that you do.
Well, in my work as a coach, I work a lot with people to help them see themselves and recognize the power they have, to live exactly the lives that they would love. So this brings me a lot of joy to know that I supported people, to make some new choices, some more empowered choices of how they live their lives. I think people are very unhappy during their lives because at some point they did some choices, about how their life should look like, but not about how they would actually love to do things. So I think they meet me in a point when they want to change those decisions, maybe start a new career, maybe start a new project, a business or so on. And I love this idea to empower them to realize, oh, actually, yeah, I have the power to create exactly what I want. This is very motivating.
It's wonderful what you do and what you say. And since we're approaching the end of our discussion today, unfortunately, I would like to say, if you were given the choice, would you do it all over again? Have you found happiness in what you do? Is this the right choice that you've made?
If I would choose to let's do it again, for sure. I'm very happy with this choice, and I actually feel very lucky, to have had this opportunity to be part of something so big. And I'm actually wondering, I'm 34 now, and I'm wondering, will I have another Let's Do It in my life since until the end? And I really hope I will. Some people don't have none, so having two would be really, really like gaining at the lottery. So yeah, I feel very happy that I was part of Let's Do It and that I still am part of it. And this work, with helping people evolve, it's really rewarding.
We're looking forward to that. I must admit, at the time, I couldn't participate. I wasn't that involved, and I was much younger then and didn't really care about these things. But as you grow older, you grow wiser. So I would really love, and I think that a lot of people, I think you would rally even more people behind the cause. So looking forward to that. And final question for you, Anca, today. We've had a great discussion, a lot of ideas to take away. But if there would be just one main idea for me, for our listeners, for everyone who will listen to this podcast, to take away, which would it be?
You always have the power to choose where you place yourself. In the victim stage where you give your power away, or in the creator stage where you say, okay, I'm taking responsibility for everything that I'm doing, and I have the power to create what I love in my life. That would be, you always have this choice.
So to sum it up, don't be a victim, be a doer.
Yep.
Wonderful, Anca. It was a real pleasure having you here with us today. Thank you so much for taking the time to come down here. Thanks everyone for tuning in for this 6th episode of Walk the Talk. My time has really flown by. See you in May for our next episode. Until then, thank you and stay safe.